2 years ago, almost to this day, we tested the new Polestar 2. And in case you're not familiar with Polestar as a brand, this is the EV offshoot of luxury premium automaker Volvo. So everything they do is just EV. Well, I remember that day very well because that's the same day that we bought the house right behind us. That's a whole other story with there. You know, actually I was camping out by those doors there to get this house. But yeah, that's what we tested, but we have it back. The difference between the one we tested 2 years ago and this new 2023 model is that the one we tested was a dual motor. Now Polestar has come out with the Polestar 2 with the single motor. And the advantage of that is maybe you don't need all-wheel drive, maybe you don't need that extra power, but you might want a little bit more range and might want to save some money. Well, this is a really good option. And that's one thing Polestar is doing. They're giving you options, and I like that. Let's hop in and take it for a drive. All right. Got a microphone there? Okay, good, perfect. Anyways, we just sat in here. There is no start, stop button, nothing. As long as you have that key fob with you, you just basically just put it in gear and you go. It takes a little getting used to, but I like it. I like it a lot, actually. And when you leave, you just put it into park, open the door, and just lock up. So let's talk about this Polestar 2. First off, you know, this is a compact hatch. It's nice to be driving a car, that's for sure. You know, when everything's an SUV these days, it's nice to have a car. And you know what, for a compact vehicle, you do get a fair bit of utility in here. When you open up that back area, so you can fold the seats down for extra room. You get 405 liters of cargo area with the seats up. With them down, you get 1,095. What's interesting is there are 3 trims, let's just say, or packages you can get. You can get the Pilot, you get the Plus, or you get the Performance. If you get the Plus, you get this flap that comes up from the floor bottom, and it's really great to separate things so things don't go flying around. Really handy. I did a Costco trip there. I like putting my backpack, my camera bag back there. It's not going to slide forward when you put the brakes on. You can just separate certain things. Love that. It also has hooks on it, so you can hang grocery bags there. If you lift up that floor, you do have a pretty decent storage area underneath the floor as well. This is a hands-free power liftgate, by the way. Now, one thing that I really do like with this Polestar 2, it's the proximity handles. You know, so if you have the key fob in your hand, you just touch a door handle, it unlocks. Well, it extends to all the doors, all 4 of them. Plus, it's really fast. So sometimes there's a delay. You really notice. You just touch that thing and click, it just opens up that particular door that you've actually touched. So I like that. It's a good job on that. So we mentioned this is a single motor we have up front here. Total horsepower is 231 horsepower and 243 pound-feet of torque. If you compare that to the dual motor, that one gets you 408 horsepower and 487 pound-feet of torque. So quite a big jump with the 2 motors, but they both use the same size 78 kilowatt hour lithium battery on there. But if you want to know how much quicker it is, well, the 0 to 60 in the dual motor is 4.5 seconds, and the 0 to 60 on this one will run you about a couple seconds slower than the dual motor. However, you do get more range on the single motor, as we mentioned at the beginning. So total range, 434 kilometers in the single motor. The dual motor gets knocked down to 418 kilometers, so a little bit less for that, which is to be expected. You have 2 motors, right? The Polestar does come with its own charger, which is a big bonus. That charger has interchangeable heads, so you can either plug that into 110 volt or a 240 as well. That's gonna save you $500 or $600. So that's a big bonus right there too. All right, so how does it drive? Well, you know what? It feels like it has more than 231 horsepower because of the instant torque that you get from an electric vehicle. This, I do like. You do get one pedal driving. So And you can actually set it to actually basically stop, or you can creep. So when you let off the brake, it'll still kind of creep forward. If that's the type of driving that you want to do, it will do that. And I do like that you can turn the one pedal off completely, or you can also adjust the level of the aggressiveness of the brake, so you get low and you get standard. So right now, I don't mind it on low. Is really good. And even when you have it on standard, this is one of the better systems out there. I'm not a big fan of one pedal driving, but I was able to drive very smooth with this system. This vehicle has winter tires on it, and with that amount of torque, it is fairly easy to break these tires loose. So you gotta kind of be a little bit gentle with these tires, and when it's cold out, you can get some good spinning happening. You know, the traction control will kick in after a little bit. If you want to go with an all-wheel drive, a lot of people, especially up in Canada here, like all-wheel drive. It's going to cost you an extra $5,000, and once again, you do take a little bit of a range penalty for that dual motor system. So let's talk a little bit about the interior here. It's getting dark actually, but we have a full Android-based system. I love the graphics. First of all, they are black and orange. That's the color of the channel of Everyday Reviews. So how could I not like it? But the graphics are really crisp. And even though this is a Volvo kind of per se, they didn't share everything, you know, it's like back and forth. And one thing is, this system I find so much better than the Volvo system. We just tested the XC90 not too long ago, and yeah, it just wasn't that intuitive. This one here, if you want to change vehicle settings, there's just a card, just hit that right there. Also, you can use your voice commands for Google, so I can say, okay, Google, turn off the steering wheel heat.
All right, turning off the steering wheel heater.
Just like that, right? So very, very easy to use in that respect. One thing that they did carry over, and this just bugs me to death, though, on the Volvo products, especially, you get this beautiful tablet-style screen. It looks like a big, huge iPad Pro, is when you have the 360 camera, but you can only see either the 360 view or a different view, like the backup camera and your rear view camera. And I don't know, I just like most other vehicles, when you have a 360 camera, you know, you'll see either, you know, on the top you'll have one system and the other you'll see 360 or side by side. But on this one, you kind of have to choose which one you want to see. And I really wish that they would allow you to actually see both cameras at the same time. So I mentioned the three packages. One is the Pilot, which you get the, let's see, let's just turn on our adaptive cruise, and I can just put on the Pilot Assist, and I can just take my hands off just like this. What's odd though is that when it's locked in, it's actually yellow. And I don't know why. Normally these are green when you're locked into these systems, you know, it's showing it's seeing the lines, but it's yellow. I'd like to see that green. And the next package is the Plus, and with that, you get the Harman Kardon audio system. I gotta say, it sounds really, really good. You also get a heat pump. The base trim does not get a heat pump. You get a heat pump, so that's more efficient depending on what the temperature is outside. You get a vegan interior. These seats are great. Seriously, they kind of remind me of, it's not like a vinyl, it's kind of like a denim in a way, but with a little bit of a shine to them. And I can see that they would be very easy to clean, but nice thing is in wintertime right now, they heat up very, very quick for the heated seats, which we have a heated front and rear seats, and they're not cold to touch when you actually go and sit in them. So that's always a welcome thing. Plus they're actually decent for the environment. Now this also comes with a heated steering wheel, and I gotta say, this has gotta be one of the hottest heated steering wheels I've ever experienced. It's like, on level 3, you know, it would be good for probably -20 because it's so hot. I have to turn it down every time. You also get tinted rear glass, you get that flip up divider for that trunk area that we mentioned, and you get the large panel roof. And what's kind of cool, it has this Polestar emblem projected onto the top of the glass, which is kind of unique. It's kind of a little Easter egg. I just kind of stumbled across it. The third package is the performance package, and that gives you, instead of 19-inch wheels, we go to 20-inch wheels. You get the Olin dampers, and you get the 4-piston brakes. So that's, you know, definitely more performance driven. That is not available on the single motor though. You need to go to dual motor to get the performance package. The ride is solid. It's fun to drive this vehicle even without the all-wheel drive. Would I like it to be rear-wheel drive? Probably, but it's still very fun to drive. It's very nimble. They have that suspension dialed right in for everyday use for all sorts of different applications. So what are the likes on this vehicle? Well, first off, it's available in the front wheel drive or just a single motor. I love the fact that they're giving you options, and for someone that doesn't maybe want the full meal deal, they can actually get something that's going to suit their budget better and give you more range. Second thing, infotainment, easy to use. I should say it does have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Of course it has Android because it's a Google system, but yeah, really simple to use. However, one thing though, if you're using Apple CarPlay and using the navigation on your CarPlay, your display in your instrument panel here also has a map as well. If you're using your Apple system, that one goes away. And you know, I just wish that, why can't you see both at the same time? You know, so that's one thing on the wish list. I really like the look and feel of this interior as well. It has, you know, that scan design look that you get with the Volvos as well. It's got a modern touch to it. Now onto the dislikes. Number one, that 360 camera we mentioned. You can't see both of them at the same time, rear view and 360. Number two, for a premium vehicle, this has got to be one of the least premium key fobs out there. It looks like something that would hold some gum or something like that. They would get to in a vending machine. It just doesn't suit the brand, in my opinion. It's just a little plastic key fob. That I wish that they would have brought that over, something over from the Volvo side, because those are just so much more solid and just a lot more premium looking and feeling. So price-wise, this is a good part. It starts at just under 54,000 Canadian dollars for the single motor. However, if you go and add some packages like the Pilot package and the Plus package, that is going to bump you up significantly. So you're going to add on almost about $10,000 if you add those two packages on. So this is the full load here. But the good news is that this vehicle qualifies for the Canadian federal EV incentive. So that's $5,000 off. And depending on what province you live in Canada, and you know, check with your particular state. If you're in the US, you may qualify for additional rebates as well. Like in BC here, you know, you may be qualified for another $4,000. So that's $9,000 off of the entire price of this, which is a pretty good value. If you look at, for instance, the Tesla Model 3, that one starts at $59,000, so it's more. It is only a single motor. And that one doesn't qualify for any rebates at all. Yes, it's not apples to apples. I think, you know, the Tesla does have a superior charging infrastructure. I do like, I'm a big fan of how they use the space. By the way, this also does have a front trunk or a frunk, and it's a decent size. It's not bad. It's definitely way bigger than our Ioniq 5 for sure. But yeah, the Tesla, they just really have that nailed down. Plus they have, you know, their infotainment there. It's pretty hard to beat that user interface, but you know, it's coming. This is getting close for sure. That's it. We've almost ran out of light. Let's give it a little more of a go here. Yeah, it feels way more than 231 horsepower for sure. It's for sure adequate for most 99% of the population out there, unless you live in the Arctic and you really need that all-wheel drive. So anyways, leave a comment below. What do you think of these new Polestars? They're going to be coming out with more, and they're going to give you options, like I said, and I love it. I love that there's more and more EVs coming into the market, that people have choices now. We just have to see if you can actually get one though. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. See you on the next Everyday Review.